Good morning to everyone out there. We reached another Friday. I hope y'all Fridays are going good. My Friday is going good so far. I've been having a restful few weeks during my time off from work. It seems like it's going to be an unlimited amount of time, but if there is something that I have learned about time is that it is not unlimited. Everything that we do in life is finite, and our lives are finite. There's a beginning point and there's an ending point. It's about making sure the things that you do in between are worthwhile for you. So I knew when I took this time off, it was only going to be for what some people consider unlimited. It's like, oh my God, 3 months. To me, it doesn't really feel like, oh, I have 3 whole months. It just feels more like I have been granted this specific time for this specific reason. I'm going to use it for what I need to use it for, and then I'm going to move on and go from there. And I don't really know what's going to happen at the end of this time. It gives me a little bit of anxiety thinking about that, but I do know that for now, I'm making the most of the time that I have to do these things, as you guys can see. But that's not the topic at hand. That's not the topic in my title. I want to talk about what I put in my title, what I have to admit about the Big Brother season 24 season. Hi, Van Hoop. When the Big Brother season was going on, I was very excited about a lot of the different things that were happening in the house. I saw potential different angles of things that I could talk about. Either just me personally, that I could talk about myself, or that I could get connected with some of these house guests and do some interviews and talk about some topics that could change the world. And the reason why I say they could change the world, some of you might say, is just a TV show. How could it change the world? Because some world topics really, really got into this Big Brother 24 season. It was really dramatic. And it was something that I saw as a potential that we could get some discussions going that could impact the world at large, basically. So I was really excited to interview everyone. I wanted to interview Taylor. Thought about, at the time, interviewing some other house guests who I'm not going to name. I wanted to interview plenty of people. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to name any. I'm just going to say there's a lot of house guests that I wanted to interview during the season or coming towards the end of the season. And then the post Big Brother season has been so dramatic, so toxic, that I haven't even wanted to get involved with it. If this was me of maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, before I went through my own mental health struggles, I wouldn't care about the potential ramifications of me interviewing these people and what certain things could do to their lives. Because I'm like, this is all entertainment. The show is entertainment. The after show, anything I talk about with them is entertainment. And I see podcasters willing to do this willy-nilly with these people's lives. And what I mean by that is, they'll say things, they'll know that those people have gone through some certain mental health traumas after leaving the house. They'll know that they've had issues with castmates, house guests, whatever you want to call them. And they'll be like, well, this person said this about you. This one said that about you. They do it on Twitter. They do it on YouTube. They do it on all social media, TikTok. And for me, I can't feel comfortable doing that. I can't feel comfortable putting people from these shows in positions where they're gonna have a hard time coping with the aftermath of my interview with them. Now, I know that that's a way to get views up quickly. I know that's a way to get views up quickly, but I am not somebody who, I feel comfortable with everything that I have on my channel. Even though there's things that people have attacked me for and said that I'm coming at certain people for certain things, I feel comfortable with everything that I put on my channel. If any of those people that I've been talking about on my channel came and had a conversation with me, I would feel comfortable with everything that's on there, explaining it to them. This is my viewpoint, this is why I said so and so, and I'm good with that. And I'm not willing to compromise that to get some views. This isn't healthy because it contributes to the problem. Yeah, it definitely does contribute to the problem. It definitely contributes to the problem because I'm really a solution-based person. So yes, there are gonna be some topics that I will bring up in an interview. For instance, for anyone who watches the challenge, I did bring up Wes and D situation. That's not gonna be resolved, I don't think. I did bring up like Wes and Kenny for conversation purposes. But in terms of this current season of Big Brother season 24, these wounds that a lot of them are experiencing are still fresh. They're still fresh, and there's still things that these people are dealing with actively. So it could be a case of I bring up something to somebody and they haven't heard that thing before. Oh, hey, so and so, Amira, Taylor, this person or that one said this about you in this and that interview. What do you think about that? And it could be a case of like Amira had never heard that interview or that thing that Taylor said, and then she's having a on-camera reaction to hearing it for the first time from me. And yes, you can call that somewhat of reporting. You know, I'm just reporting something that I heard, and I'm just doing my research. But this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. My main point of this whole video is that it's why I feel much less excited to interview these house guests from this particular season, because they have so much active trauma between each other, things that they have not talked about. A lot of them are like, I don't talk to this one anymore. I blocked this one. I blocked that one. I blocked this one. I don't want to hear their name. I don't want to hear anything about them. I don't want to listen to them. And I watched the things they said in the house about me, and I couldn't believe they said those things. And for that reason, I don't F with them in real life. And then it's like, so it's hard because even bringing those people up, you know they're going to be spewing hurt in their responses. And then sometimes the response will be taken by the Twitterverse or the online community and chopped up and sent to that next person. And then it causes this whole storm, and then channels pick that up. Channels that just love the toxicity will pick that up and then make a whole podcast about it, and it just keeps it going and going and going and going. And it's like, for me, something like that requires me to put my energy towards that, which takes my positivity down and immerses me a little bit in this culture. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that I somewhat have to do that to be in my lane that I'm in anyways, because I'll give you an example without naming names. It would be easy to figure out if you follow my page enough, but I'll just say I interviewed somebody. They gave me a little bit of on-camera information about a situation. They gave me a lot of off-camera information about a situation. And I chose not to dive into what they told me off-camera, on the camera, because I didn't want that to become a talking point amongst the community, even though it was a hot topic of something that happened on the show. It's a gotcha style question. Someone did it to you, trying to generate beef between creators. Yeah, somebody did do it to me twice. That situation you're talking about, Van Hoop, was one of them, trying to create beef with me and creators. And they did it to me a second time with my recap of Big D's birthday, trying to create a beef with me and Taylor and me and Joseph when there was no reason for one. So I've seen it with the little that they get from my channel to be able to try to spin. So I could only imagine if it was a bigger situation, what they would do if they had a real thing to try to create the beef with. Do you think it's just the culture and time we live in? That's a tough question, Van Hoot. It's hard to answer that because I've only been a part of. This is my first postseason Big Brother that I've been a part of, because the first live season that I ever watched was Big Brother season 23, and I was not involved in Twitter, YouTube, social media after Big Brother 23, so I don't know really what the public was like with the Big Brother 23 season. But I do know that I feel like those house guests came out, even the ones that were outside of the Cookout Alliance, and had much more positive, healthy conversations amongst themselves afterwards, and a lot of them are still friends with each other. Even the Cookout members that had problems with each other, the people that were outside of the alliance that had a problem with there being a cookout, like, they seem to have generally handled that pretty well. And this season, oh boy, it's a tough question to answer, Van Hoot, to be honest with you. It's a good question though. If those questions you lose, but yeah, the interviewees. So I don't know how many Big Brother pages you guys follow, and especially Big Brother pages that do interviews. But I've realized too that you have to choose a lane when it comes to doing these interviews. So for me to be regarded as a safe space channel for people to do interviews, it means that I have to be selective with who I choose to interview. Because I'll be honest with you guys, when the season first ended, I was somebody who said, I will interview anybody who is willing to interview with me from the season. That was my initial thoughts. I'm like, it's just an interview. Me interviewing them does not mean that I'm down for what they're saying. However, in some ways it does, because I'm not CNN, I'm not TMZ, I'm not working for a company where I have to just take whatever is a hot topic, trending topic that comes on my plate. I'm not that. I am a one-person team. So if I choose to interview somebody who's saying things that are sexist, racist, inflammatory, whatever, now I'm going to be the channel that's associated with those types of things. With that said, it's not like a hard no for anyone. Like, I did tell people, if I had a chance to interview Monty, let's say, I would interview Monty even though I didn't agree with certain things that he did or said during the season. But there's other people now that I won't even talk about on my channel anymore directly, because I'm still tapped in. I'm still somewhat tapped into the postseason stuff that's going on with Big Brother, even if I'm not making videos about it anymore. And actually, in regards to the last thing that Van Hoot just said, some of the most viewed things that I have on my page are some of those topics that I'm avoiding talking about on my page. So I know if I started talking about those topics, people act like that's difficult. People act like it's difficult to have a TMZ Big Brother page. It's not. I could change my page overnight. I could change my viewership overnight. I could get a lot more views. I could get a lot more subscribers if I tapped in into the most toxic topics from the season. But then I feel like that would be a disrespect to the people who followed me for who I am, for what I provide. That would be a complete 180. That would be a complete 180 for me to be like, you know what? All the things that you guys followed me for, I just need the money and I just need the views. So anytime I see a Big Brother house guest get on live and say, I hate this person, you know, this one talked about this one and this one talked about that one and that one talked about this one. And then I'm involved in this game of telephone that they have going on, and it gets picked up, and the fans are like, oh, check out Music and Mental Health channel, because he gave us the tea about this one talking about this one, and then he got this person to come on his channel and talk about this other person, and then it's just like, now I'm involved in it. Now I'm perpetuating it, I'm spreading it around, and it's irresponsible to me, in my opinion. It's irresponsible. So I would love to cover these Big Brother 24 people. I would love to have topics that I consider worth covering. Like Hannah Chada, for instance. She's getting her doctorate. You know what I mean? Like, great things going on. Tiffany's doing her business. You know, there's good things to talk about with house guests from other seasons, and I'm not saying there's nothing good to talk about with these Big Brother 24 house guests, but there's such a divide amongst them. And when we get into these interviews, because I've watched a lot of interviews with them on other channels, the interviews are about the divide. We're not talking about gameplay. We're not talking about, oh, this happened on week 3. This is what I was thinking. This is where my mind was at during this veto competition. This is what happened when we got to the final 5. These are the deals that I had. It's just mostly people trying to dive into those beefs. And there's so many of them. And it's like politics. it's like a huge thing of politics where we're watching, the far left and the far right. And I have to admit, people have told me, don't let that influence the way you run your channel or the things you talk about on your channel. And I respect that. It's not necessarily that I'm running from the topics or running from the hard conversations. It's just that the conversation topics are the same and they're not progressive. And that's something that I can't really dive into it like that. I can't really dive into it like that. Like, there's a person who I've told you guys, some of you know this person. I've told Van Hoot, I've told a couple of people of a potential interview that I have of a Big Brother 24 house guest. And as time keeps going on and things keep getting spoken about, discovered and uncovered, I think to myself, how do I say this? I think to myself, my interview, I might have some things in my interview that have never been heard before from that person. And what are people going to take that interview and do with it? And it's not necessarily because I'm saying like, oh, my questions are so much better than anyone else's questions. It's just that this person said, I don't really want to answer Big Brother questions at this time because of the toxicity of what's going on. And I've heard a lot of them talk about how they are having mental health issues. And I know that the house itself gives people mental health issues for various reasons, just the environment itself. But the other part of the equation is the fact that these people are not talking to each other directly. Oh, there's comments here. I'm sorry. The signal is breaking up. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. methodical. You'll be able to reconnect rather than a one-stop shop. Yeah, sorry y'all if it's breaking up. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick point. I might come back and elaborate on this a little bit more later because these are just quick thoughts that I have in the car at this moment. But basically, I'm having a hard time because for me to interview people and cover topics requires me to have something that I'm connecting with, and I think about my topics before I put them up. I don't just see something coming down the Big Brother pipeline and say to myself, oh, I got to cover that because it's news. Yeah, I got to cover that right away. It's more like, why am I covering this? What do I want to talk about, and how are the people going to react to this particular topic? Is it something that me covering it is going to help in some kind of a way? What is it going to provide for the people who are watching my channel? I don't know. I think about things that a lot of people that cover Big Brother don't think about. And I think that a part of that is because I'm not a Big Brother. I know a lot of you say, what are you talking about? I followed you because of Big Brother. It says it in your bio, Big Brother spoiler page. Like I've been saying, that was happenstance. So I think about my core values before I think about the show and providing entertainment to people who are watching my channel. And a lot of things that I see go against my core values. And that's why I just don't cover them. And that's my dilemma. I think I might do a part 2 about this live because I know some of y'all have said it's choppy, and also I'm almost at my destination. But thanks y'all for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments.